In this video, I'm going to try to give some advice as to how we can use these three different practice techniques and build them into some kind of a routine. The first two methods I think are both very helpful to possibly learn pieces with even. So for instance, if I was going to learn a piece, I would probably alternate playing it, watching a hand, or I might really just work on playing it in rhythms for about a week or two. I would say I'd probably start with that. And as I get more and more confident with the rhythms, a little shortcut you can take is you can start watching the two different hands while doing the rhythms. So you can not only use your rhythm practice, but you can integrate the hand separate practice with the rhythms. So while practicing, for instance, I'll just watch the left hand. And then I'll play it again and I'll just watch the right hand. Then I've done the rhythm practice and the hand separate practice all in the same sort of little run through. And it just eventually, as you get more comfortable with your pieces, you don't have to keep everything so separate. So you can do the rhythms, you can do the hand separate while doing the rhythms. And once you're happy with the control of those two techniques, then you can start to throw in the metronome, depending on the kind of piece, maybe sort of half tempo. And if you've built in your foundation correctly, it shouldn't be very difficult at all for the metronome at half tempo to string everything together pretty easily. It shouldn't take but a couple of days to get everything at least at sort of half tempo, and then you can start pushing your metronome up to get greater speeds. And so maybe after, so you learn for a couple of weeks, do the two methods, start stringing it together with the metronome maybe for a week. And then once you have control of the piece, what I would like to show, or what I'm gonna hope to show in some future videos very soon, is how I will practice maybe a few of the other pieces on my Liszt recital. How I practice the Don Juan Fantasy or the Liszt Sonata, using, each section might have different methods of practice that work best for it. So some methods I'm just going to watch left hand, watch right hand, only need to play it once or twice, not very difficult. Other methods or other sections in the piece might require all three. I may use rhythms, I'm going to watch hands separately, I'm going to use the metronome, I'm going to use all three because they're technically difficult or whatever reasons. And so, picking and choosing which techniques suit certain sections of the pieces is something, usually common sense will lead you, but something that can help. And so ultimately, let's say if I get a whole program ready, to have an ideal routine as to how I would practice, I may do sort of a hand separate without rhythms, let's say on Monday. I'm just going to really carefully watch at a slow speed. I'm going to watch everything slowly, hand separate, watch left hand, watch right hand. Tuesday, I'll probably put everything into the rhythms, stopping on 1 or 4 or 1 and 6 or 1 and 3, whichever suits the piece or the section. And then this is all set up. This sounds very structured. The whole point of this is that so on Wednesday, on the third day, you can be completely free. And then you just play with no restrictions. You're as free as possible. You actually try and attempt to get out of thinking about the rhythms or thinking about the left hand or the right hand. I try to get more of like a conductor's view or sound, and sit back more physically, and just I don't necessarily zoom into one hand or the other unless I particularly want to, and then I try to get comfortable looking at various things in different hands and just sort of playing the role of the conductor. So Wednesday is the free day. So on the third day, we're going to be able to do whatever we want to do, and we use those 2 other days on Monday and Tuesday to just get the foundation as solid as we can, that we can just run the piece maybe 3 times in a row. Back to Thursday, probably going to start playing slowly again, maybe back to rhythms on Friday, and then play throughs again on Saturday. So often I go to sort of a 3-day cycle with pieces, 2 of the days being work days, with rhythms, metronomes, or hand separate practice, and then that third day where you just forget about all of it and you just listen and play and enjoy. And that's something difficult that we actually have to practice is getting out of, we have to practice getting out of practice mode, because a lot of times, and that's why I like the idea of this routine, because on a Monday when you're doing work, you're not playing fast, you're going to do your structured sets of pieces. You consciously need to be able to turn off that critical ear when you are on stage, and I will often try to not at all on the day of a concert be in that critical stage of trying to fix things. And of course, if it's the last minute learning a piece, there's nothing you can do, and you're just trying to survive. But if you learn your pieces and you've organized and everything is going smoothly, I'll try to get out of the practice mentality. And if I really know a program well, maybe Monday and Tuesday you do that core work of just looking at everything, doing the rhythms, and then from Wednesday to the end of the week or till a concert, I can pretty much just play the pieces as they're there. I don't need to go back and refine them slowly as much, because they just stick in a little bit easier. So the ultimate goal is to just maybe once a week do your rhythms, do your hand separate practice, and that just builds your foundation, and you keep going back to it. It actually doesn't sound much different at the end as it does in the beginning. It's just it's a super solid foundation that you keep returning to, so that memory stays sharp. You keep finding new things. I love this kind of practice methods, because I'm now able to sing through all these different ways of these training wheels. I can still musically think through them. It takes a little bit of practice to be able to do that. But if you can think musically through some of these training wheels, it can just make your practice a lot more efficient. You don't need to play pieces so many times to get them in top shape. You can go back to this fundamental, foundational work once a week and basically be free the rest of the time. So I hope that some of these methods and routines are helpful, and the next videos that are going to be coming out, I'm hoping to start demonstrating pieces and using these methods and ways that I practice. I'm hoping to go through some bigger pieces and isolate and demonstrate exactly how I use these exercises to keep them fresh and keep them clean, and hopefully give me confidence to play well on stage.